Michael Haight, age 42, was married to Tauscher Haight, age 40. The couple lived at 4923 North Albert Drive in Inuk, Utah. Inuk is located in Iron County, Utah. It's approximately 7 miles northeast of Cedar City, and 250 miles south of Salt Lake City. It has a population of just under 6,000 citizens. Michael and Tauscher had been married for 19 years, and had 5 children. 17-year-old Macy, 12-year-old Briley, 7-year-old twins, Sienna and Ammon, and 4-year-old Gavin. Michael graduated from Cedar High School in 1998. Michael studied business at Southern Utah University. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in 2004. Michael owned and operated his own insurance agency, but later sold the business. He began working for Allstate Insurance as an agent. Tauscher graduated from Moapa Valley High School in 1999. She went to Southern Utah University, obtaining a bachelor degree in child development studies in 2004. She loved to read and travel, but her most favorite was spending time with her children. Macy Lynn was the oldest of the Haight's 5 children. She helped out with her younger siblings by helping them with their homework and daily chores. Her goal was to attend Southern Utah University in the fall and pursue a degree in digital marketing. When she graduated high school, she would already have her associate's degree. Briley enjoyed music and singing. She also enjoyed playing on her piano and cello, and reading books. She talked about being a librarian when she grew up. She adored school, church, and spending time with her friends. Ammon Michael loved building with his Legos. He had a huge imagination, and was obsessed with trains. Sienna Bell enjoyed taking pictures with her camera, and adding funny filters to them. Like her sister, she loved reading books. She was always the first to get her homework finished, and enjoyed spending time with her friends. Gavin Drew loved to hug everyone. He always had to be in the midst of whatever was going on. He had a contagious smile, and loved to tickle and be tickled. He enjoyed drawing, and was known as Dennis the Menace because he kept his mother on her toes. The family were all devout members of the LDS Church. Tauscher had to have dinner on the table when Michael arrived home. Nobody was allowed to take the first bite until he took a bite. On one occasion Michael was late getting home, so Tauscher allowed her hungry kids to go ahead and start eating. When he arrived home and noticed the children were already eating, it enraged him. He tossed everything in the floor, and made her cook dinner all over again so he could take the first bite. Michael controlled all the finances and gave Tauscher a very small allowance to purchase groceries, pay bills, and take care of the children. Michael controlled every aspect of Tauscher's life. She could only have the friends that he approved of. He would hit her, and sometimes choke her until she passed out. He would secretly read all of her text messages to find out if she was talking about him to anyone. Tauscher wasn't the only one he abused. In August of 2020, Macy told one of her friends that her father, Michael, had been physically and mentally abusive toward her over the years. She described 3 separate incidents where he grabbed her, shook her, and even choked her. She told police she was scared he might kill her. She also told police that her father frequently belittled her mother in front of all of their children. She said he would call her stupid and lazy. She also said at times he would take her mother's cell phone away and wouldn't allow her to leave the house. When Michael was interviewed by police concerning the alleged abuse, he claimed he never put his wife down in front of the children, but had lost his temper a few times with his kids. He described a tough, stressful year with his father's recent death, and his brother's divorce. He claimed his ex-sister-in-law was saying horrible things about his mother and sister, which is why he took his wife's phone to read the messages. He admitted to taking his wife's iPad with him to work one day and reading all her messages, and denied taking it when she asked about it. He said he later slipped it back where he found it. The officer investigating the alleged assault told Michael his actions toward his oldest daughter were close to assaultive but decided not to press any charges. Instead, he advised Michael to continue seeking assistance for his anger issues. Tauscher called authorities right after Michael was interviewed and asked if the family would be safe when he returned home. The officer assured Tauscher that her husband showed no indication of violence. Tauscher told the officer she didn't believe criminal charges were appropriate but hoped this would be a wake-up call for her husband. Tauscher couldn't handle Michael's abuse any longer. In December of 2022 she officially separated from Michael. On December 21 in 2022 Tauscher filed for divorce. Michael Haight was served with divorce papers on December 27 of the same year. Tauscher's mother, Gail Earle, temporarily moved in with her daughter to assist with the children while she was going through the divorce. Gail Earle was the mother of 7 children. Gail's husband Boyd passed away a few years ago. Gail enjoyed going to church, traveling, playing and teaching piano, and making quilts. She absolutely loved all of her students, and loved when they discovered their own love of music. Days after filing for divorce, Michael showed up at the home, and removed all the guns the family used for protection. Both Tauscher and Gail were trained in gun safety and personal protection. On the night of January 3, Macy texted a friend that her father showed up at their home, and was acting strange. She told her friend she was worried. On January 4, Tauscher missed an appointment with the Women's Crisis Center. A concerned friend contacted the Innick City Police to conduct a welfare check for Tauscher. A missing persons report was submitted to the Cedar City Police Department since Michael worked in that location. However, when police began investigating, they found that Michael had left his position with Allstate the week before for unknown reasons. Police determined that the family's address was in Innick. The missing persons report was transferred to Innick City Police. After authorities could not locate Tauscher, it became an effort to locate the entire family. At 4 p.m. on January 4, police were sent to 4923 North Albert Drive. When they entered, they found a grisly scene. Tauscher, her mother Gail, and all 5 children, Macy, Riley, Ammon, Sienna, and Gavin, were all dead from gunshot injuries. Michael had shot every member of his family, then committed suicide. Right before police arrived, concerned neighbors and church members entered the home and had already discovered the bodies. Crime scene investigators worked throughout the night processing the evidence. The bodies were removed early in the morning and transferred to the state medical examiner for autopsies. Jeffrey Chestnut, mayor of Innick City, told reporters, "The Heights were my neighbors. The youngest children played in my yard with my sons. This is a tremendous blow to many, many families who have spent many, many nights with these individuals who are now gone." After investigating thoroughly, it was determined that Michael Haight shot his wife, Tauscher, his mother-in-law, Gail, and all of his children, Macy, Riley, Sienna, Ammon, and Gavin. He then took his own life by a self-inflicted gunshot injury to the head. Authorities told reporters during a press conference that the public was safe, and they do not believe there are any suspects outstanding. It was discovered that Tauscher and her older daughter Macy both attended a church function the night before the bodies were discovered. James Park, who represented Tauscher Haight in the divorce case, said she had not expressed any fear that her husband would physically hurt her, but he declined to elaborate, citing the investigation into the killings. Park said he only met with her twice, mostly recently on Tuesday, and said she was an incredibly nice lady. Utah Governor Spencer Cox released a statement saying, "Our hearts go out to all those affected by this senseless violence." The Innick community held a candlelight vigil at the Innick City Recreation Center for the Haight family on January 4 in 2022. The White House issued a public statement which read, The President and First Lady are mourning with the Enoch City, Utah community in the wake of a tragic shooting that has reportedly claimed the lives of 5 children and multiple adults in their family home. Too many Americans have lost loved ones or had their lives forever changed due to gun violence, and gun violence remains a leading cause of death for children in America. Less than 1 month after we marked 10 years since the Sandy Hook tragedy, another mass shooting has claimed the lives of 5 more children in Enoch City. Funeral services were held for Tausha, her mother Gail, and her 5 children, Macy, Briley, Ammon, Sienna, and Gavin. Over 800 people were in attendance to show respect. The family was laid to rest at the La Verkin City Cemetery. An obituary for Michael Haight praised him as a loving father, and described him as a caring, loving, active member of his community and Mormon church. It was eventually removed due to public outrage. Does the Mormon Church have a history of siding with abusive men? In 2018, a White House staffer, Rob Porter, resigned from his position after reports came forward that he had physically abused both of his ex-wives. He was a devoted member of the LDS Church. When the allegations came forward, his backers came forward pushing that he had exemplary character and noting all his degrees from Harvard and Oxford, and his religious faith. Porter's ex-wives claimed that the Mormon bishops ignored their reports of domestic violence. One of the ex-wives stated that she tried getting help with the church, but it was actually her secular workplace who told her what was happening was not okay. She said that the Mormon leaders cautioned her about going public about the abuse, and how it would affect his professional life. Mormons have a deep commitment to male authority. It's deeply ingrained within their theology. It reinforces patterns of abuse and prevents women from coming forward. The Mormon Church doctrine believes that husbands have authority over their wives in the home, and the male bishops have authority over Mormon women in general within the church. This leads women to believe they must submit and endure abuse, and if they come forward seeking help, their bishops side with the husband. There's also a strong cultural shame within the Mormon Church around divorce. This puts pressure on the women to stay in abusive marriages. One LDS woman told reporters that when she came forward for help, her bishop told her she forced her husband to act that way, and that she needed to repent for the abuse to end. The Mormons also push separation from the secular world. This isolates Mormon women from resources to understand the abuse, and escape from it. Jacqueline Campbell, a professor at Johns Hopkins School of Nursing and an expert on intimate partner domestic violence, said the domestic violence perpetrated by these family annihilators are often hidden from family, neighbors and friends. Often in the aftermath of the murders they're in shock and look back with congenial recollections. She said, neighbors will often say, "Oh, he was a nice guy, I can't believe this happened." It seems totally out of the blue. She went on to say that wives are often reluctant to report the abuse. Professor Campbell said that the prior case of domestic violence should have been a red flag to Child Protective Services. She said when CPS gets a report of child abuse, they should also find out if the mother is being abused. She said they often go hand in hand. Campbell's extensive research found that the #1 cause of death for black women ages 18 to 25 was homicide by their current or former husband or boyfriend. She said domestic violence was a precursor. She published her research in Advances in Nursing Science under Misogyny and Homicide of Women. After extensive research in the subject, Campbell developed an assessment tool aimed to determine if an abused woman was at risk of being killed by their intimate partner. The tool, the Danger Assessment, asks such questions as: is he violently jealous of you, does he ever try to choke you, and does he own a gun? The women were advised to mark a year-long calendar with dates of abuse incidents and their severity. The tool is designed to give women an active role in planning their own safety. Campbell also developed the lethality assessment program, which is designed to be administered by police when they encounter domestic violence. This week's scavenger hunt clue is the letter T like tango. Michael Haight was an abusive man who executed his wife, mother-in-law, and children. His wife wanted to get away for a better life for her children, but he couldn't have that. Instead, he removed all the guns from the home so they couldn't protect themselves, then murdered them all. He was a monster. When a child makes allegations that their father is abusing to them and their mother, it should never be swept under the rug. It's an outrage that authorities ignored this man's abuse because he was a church member and educated. If Michael Haight would have been arrested for abusing his daughter, and forced into therapy, it may have changed the outcome. May Tauscher, Gail, Macy, Ammon, Sienna, and Gavin all rest in peace. That concludes this episode. Keep your eye out for the next volume, coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.
Want to help support the channel you love, and get something in return? Simply purchase some Elizabeth's Chronicles merch. We have coffee mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, cozy blankets, beach towels, phone covers and more. Use the coupon code EC10OFF4U and get 10% off your order. The link to order is in the description area below this video. Thanks for helping Elizabeth's Chronicles continue to make the videos you love.